sharks are the prehistoric animals, really the dinosaurs of the oceans.
Sharks are the apex predator.
They're so unique and powerful.
They sort of fight first and ask questions later. Sharks have been cast as being these horrible pests and predators on people in the past, and we just know that's just not true. They are a resource for us in at least three ways. First, they're an ecological resource. They're important in the ocean as a top predator to help balance life in the sea.
195.
Secondly, they're a resource in terms of helping us directly in human health, because we have so much to learn from these animals in terms of how they fight disease, including cancer, that we're working here at Molten Marine Laboratory to study that and apply that to the development of pharmaceutical products for people. And third, they're a resource economically, because they're the basis of very large fisheries, as well as aquariums and dive operations that need the living animal.
And the myth really is that when you go in the water, you're going to be eaten by a shark. What we do at the aquarium is we do bring in sharks from possibly the wild, and we try and display them to the public. And by doing that, they're really symbols to show really just how unique they are, how harmless they may be. The stereotypes that have really been bestowed upon them are really not very true. So people get to see the different sizes and shapes in a different way, but more importantly, they get to learn and be educated about the sharks. And hopefully that's going to dampen their fear of sharks.
Most divers would say that it would be very lucky if you were to see a shark on your dive. A lot of times we see Caribbean reef sharks and black-tipped reef sharks and all sorts of little horn sharks and such, and it's exciting, and it does cause a little bit of an adrenaline rush, and in fact it makes you respect the majesty of the sharks. They are apex predators, which means they're the top of their food chain.
Statistics show the frequency of shark attacks rises with popular dive times.
Their brains are large, and their sensory systems are sophisticated. The brains are highly dedicated to the sensory capabilities, so they're really like swimming computers that are going around monitoring the environment and responding to those stimuli in a kind of a hardwired way.
The Project Aware Foundation was founded back in 1992 by leaders at PADI. The philosophy of aquatic world awareness, responsibility, and education is really a way to teach divers to interact responsibly with the underwater world and make no impact, in fact, have a positive impact when they're diving. Our mission is to conserve underwater environments through education, advocacy, and action.
When you're diving, most times you're in the water, you're rarely ever going to encounter or see a shark unless you go to the Great Barrier Reef or Tahiti, for example. There's ecotourism where the dive guy will bring in bait to bring in the sharks to have people see them. Most of the times when you're diving without bait or whatever, you're almost never going to see a shark.
There's hundreds of species of sharks, and they all operate very differently. Actually, most of the sharks are deep sea animals that are little guys only about so big as adults. In certain parts of the world, like the Bahamas, there's dive operations where one can go and see these beautiful animals in dozens coming around and taking food right in front of you. You see how tame sharks can be in that kind of setting, and they're not the wild, maniacal predators that they've been cast to be by Hollywood in previous films.
In any film I've seen prior to this, it's always someone falls in the water and a shark seeks them out and rips them apart. Whereas here you have these two characters that are out in the ocean, and the sharks really aren't interested. It's only after a certain period of time when physically certain things are happening to them, as dehydration sets in, as the elements set in, as they're starting to break down, that the sharks start moving in, because these two people start resembling a primary food source, which is some kind of wounded animal or a creature in distress.
One of the things I did like about the movie was that it showed the divers in the water for a very long time before sharks started to kind of be around and bother them. The sharks were in the area, and it's very likely that the dive site where these two were would be a place where sharks would inhabit. But you didn't see sharks just coming up right away and ripping them apart and that sort of thing, unlike the way that Hollywood has depicted sharks in other characterizations.
What happens in our film, unfortunately, happened, and it's a very, very rare occurrence. You're more likely to be sucked out of a window of an airplane than to have what happened in our movie happen. So we want people to know that, just if you go in the water, you're not going to get eaten by sharks. Of course, in certain parts of the ocean, if you've been in the water a long time, a shark as a natural predator will become interested. But they don't have this kind of nefarious, malevolent, hatred of human beings that they're out to get you. That's just not what it is.
Annual shark-related injuries pale in comparison to injuries caused by simple household items, such as nails, ladders, trimmers, chainsaws, and even toilets.
Most of the shark attacks in the world are mistaken identity. In the Bahamas, the few shark attacks that happen annually here are with spear fishermen, where a spear fisherman goes down and shoots a big grouper and it's flailing, it's bleeding, the shark goes crazy and tries to bite the grouper, mistakenly bites the spear fisherman. In California, it's surfers. They're on top of a surfboard and they look like a seal, and the white shark comes up and bites them. Usually as soon as they bite them, they let them go. So sharks are discriminate eaters, and generally you're pretty safe being in the water with them.
Sharks do have one flaw, though, one imperfection. That has been their bane in the last 20 or 30 years, and that is that as predators they are not evolved to or adapted to be the prey.
Humans are the greatest threat to the survival of sharks. We are eating more seafood because there's more of us, and shark meat is good. It's very, very tasty. It's a nice firm steak, and it is a popular seafood item. We're catching 100 million sharks a year to feed our appetite. Okay? The scary thing is about half of those, or 50 million, are actually thrown overboard dead or dying because they either got entangled in fishing gear that was going for another species, or they cut the fin off and throw the carcass overboard because what they're really going for is that fin, which is a delicacy for the shark fin soup.
So when they become the prey, their numbers go way down, and they're incapable of reproducing fast enough to bring their numbers back. And this has become a problem now worldwide, a global problem in shark conservation.
In our lifetime, we could see many sharks endangered, if not eliminated from basically the world. You have over 100 million sharks that are killed annually.
100 million sharks a year versus how many shark attacks on humans per year? 70, 60, depending on the year.
Even with coastal shark populations declining rapidly, statistics show shark attacks remain directly correlated to human population numbers.
When you look at how many shark attacks there are, there's far less than 100 a year. So if you look at that in perspective, for every single person who's attacked by a shark, we're taking about 1 million sharks out of the sea. That's a pretty scary thought when you need that predator to keep ecosystems healthy and balanced.
Now we're in a stage where we're going back out to the ocean, and we're applying high-tech methods to track these animals, to learn more about their behavior and their ecology. We're really now getting to the point where with things like satellite tags, where we can track these animals with satellites, we can follow a shark through its entire life cycle and know about the critical habitats that those animals need and how long they live and where they go. This animal will get to be 9 feet long in the wild.
These are not animals to be feared. They're not seeking us out. They're not, human beings are not on the menu. It's just really they're victims of a lot of hype and a lot of bad press.
They play such an important role in the aquatic environment, and I think that's what people don't necessarily realize. They don't see the benefit that sharks have to offer the ecosystem. There's lots of things people can do to help conserve sharks, and probably the biggest thing is education, trying to dispel the myth that sharks are these vicious killing machines, that we actually need them for our healthy ecosystem.
Our mission with the Seafood Watch program is really to take people from caring about the oceans to caring for the oceans. So we have what we call the Seafood Watch Pocket Guide, which is something that you, the consumer, can take with you to restaurants or to the supermarket to make seafood choices that are more environmentally friendly.
We have so much we need to learn from these animals. They've been around for 400 million years. They're a very important part of ocean ecology. These are top predators that sit on the top of food chains and in many ways control the balance of life in the sea.
Sharks maintain the delicate balance of healthy oceans that we enjoy today as a source of seafood, as a source of recreation, as a source of beauty. So we want to make sure that our marine ecosystems are in check and are in balance for us to enjoy for generations to come.